All right, Pops, you worked in the auto industry for 40 plus years selling cars. I'm sure you heard a lot of crazy things said in the dealership, some things we can't repeat here on this show. I came across a Reddit thread asking for the craziest things a sales manager ever told a salesperson to say to a customer. I thought we could react to some of those that are listed out here. How's that sound?
Works for me, yes. I'm sure there'll be some doozies in here.
Yes, and then maybe you can share some stories from your experience as well. First one we've got, Dad.
Yes.
Sales manager said, quote, just tell them we will get them one. Me, quote, Toyota doesn't make a diesel Tundra for sale in the US. Sales manager, quote, they expect you to lie to them. Just tell them you will get them one, then flip them when they get here and do your damn job.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I like that. The sales manager, well, they expect you to lie to them anyway. So sure, tell them that we're going to get them that diesel Tundra that, I don't know, isn't available in the United States. And then let's see what kind of salesperson you are when that gas-powered Tundra shows up. Oh, my goodness gracious. And you want to know the worst part about this? That sales manager will be hiding the day those customers come in. He will lock himself in the men's room, in the stall in the men's room, so that he doesn't have to come out and talk to them when the customer says, I want to talk to your sales manager. And the salesperson's going to have to say, I don't think so. He's locked in a stall in the men's room. That is just incredible.
God. It really, really is. All right, Dad, we've got another one here. Let's see. When I first started on the desk, I had a very, very green salesman dealing with an unrealistic BS customer. I told the salesman, quote, tell him to get the F out of here. My salesman walked up to the customer and said the word, said word for word, quote, my manager said to get the F out of here. I heard about it weeks later. Very funny these days, but could have been very not funny. LMAO. Have you ever heard of something like that happen, Dad? Do you ever have any salespeople that took you that literally when you were a manager?
I will share with you a story. When I was a closer at a Mazda Volkswagen dealership in Mesa, Arizona, and one of my salespeople tracked me down, and he said, "I got this customer. He's such a pain in the ass. I just want to tell him to get the F out of here." And I said, okay, let me go talk to him. And I went out and I introduced myself and I shook his hand and I didn't let go of his hand. And I said, I just want you to know that the sales guy, he really just wants me to tell you to get the F out of here. Because you're that much of a pain in the ass. And I wouldn't let go of his hand because I didn't want him to hit me. And he just looked at me and he smiled. And I said, maybe we could start off on a slightly different foot. And eventually, funny, I told him, do you remember what the salesperson wanted me to tell you when I first got out here? He said, yeah. I said, well, it still applies, unfortunately.
Pops, did you hear the good news?
I did. Abe Lincoln said we should save people 30% if they sign up for CarEdge Coach. That's 30% off through the end of February.
Use the code CarEdge Coach at caredge.com/plans. We had a Ram 2500 that we had just put a new transmission in, and he told me, the sales manager, specifically not to tell the customer that. Well, fast forward to him talking to my customer. He said word for word, quote, I don't know if my salesperson told you or not, but that truck has a brand new transmission. And the customer called me an unprofessional, shady salesman. After that, I could genuinely say that's the maddest I've ever been at my job. That's messed up.
Yeah, well, that's just a sales manager thinking it's easier to throw his salesperson under the bus than it is for him to I don't know, really do his job as a manager.
All right, we've got another one here, Pops. Wasn't me, but a story I get told from time to time about the old days. My sales manager that hired me into the business has been in since the mid-'80s. And back in the 90s, when he was in finance and they would print out credit reports for customers to sign, he wrote, quote, oh, why did you think you could buy on this lady's credit report? And told the salesman to go show it to her. The salesman did it, and when the lady started cussing and ranting about who wrote that, the salesman said, quote, "It printed out that way, ma'am. I think it was the credit bureau warning us." What the heck? That is terrible.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. And not very professional, but what are you going to do? I'll share another story with you,
please.
And this is one that I heard about, not one that I saw happen, but I was told about it. There was a gentleman that was very upset at a Ford dealership in the South Jersey area, and he wanted to speak to the owner. And so the owner brought him into the office, and the customer started venting on the owner.
Yeah.
And the owner allegedly cut the customer off and said, "I don't know if you're aware of it, but we're in the people effing business, and you've just been effed. Now get the F out of my office."
Wow.
Yeah. But that was back in the late 70s, early 80s. Maybe you could talk to people like that in that manner. I don't know. And I don't know if it's really true or not. But if it is, well, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard about an owner telling a customer.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, one more for you, Pops. Early on in the business, a customer comes in, happily goes through the process up until the Foursquare, then proceeds to make a ridiculously low offer on a new car. 2 more pencils later, we're still miles apart from a deal. This is when my manager gave me the line, quote, "Sir, it sounds like you want a good buy." The customer says, "I do." Salesman says, "Goodbye." He was far from thrilled. That's it. You ever use that line?
That line's been around since the late 1800s, I believe. Yes, I've heard the line. Salespeople always use the line, talk about it when they're in the office with the sales managers. The sales manager will always say, "Well, it sounds like your customer wants a goodbye. Just go out there and tell them goodbye." Yeah, that type of stuff happens all the time. That is par for the course. Now, I will tell you, I had a sales manager one time who said, the customer said to him, he says, "Well, I want you to drop the price a little bit." So the sales manager slid the worksheet off the table and let it hit the floor. He said, "There, it's lower now." And another time when a customer said to him, he said, "You need to shave the price," he pulled out a can of shaving cream and a razor.
Are you serious?
Okay, and he sprayed shaving cream on the worksheet and he shaved it off. He said, "There, I've shaved the deal for you." So, yeah, I have seen and heard and probably participated in a lot of stupid stuff over the course of time in 43 years in the car business. Yeah. I never did once tell one of my salespeople to tell a customer we'll get them a car that they don't make. That's a new one on me. And then do your damn job and switch them. Yeah.